The swordsman charges ahead with immense force, surrounded by glowing purple energy, as dozens of enemies prepare for combat. His presence alone signals the activation of a high-tier skill, drawing the attention of the entire battlefield. An explanation appears, revealing that among all SSR-ranked skills, the one he's using delivers the highest attack output in close combat, making it unmatched in sheer power. However, the skill comes with a major drawback. A flaming knight, caught in an explosion, shows just how dangerous the risk can be, hinting at the cost that might come with its activation. A teammate announces that the enemies have been softened up and are ready to be finished off. Fire magic blazes from both his hands, signaling he's already done his part and cleared the way for the final blow. The swordsman, maintaining a cold, determined focus, readies his greatsword for a devastating attack. A final note reveals the skill's key limitation. In order to build up damage stacks, the skill's user must personally land every hit. The narration continues from the previous explanation, stating that the skill holder must personally land the final blow in order to build up stacks. This requirement adds a layer of tactical importance to the user's positioning during combat. The scene shifts to a flashback labeled 5 hours earlier. A team of adventurers, led by a man in red armor, gathers in a cave-like setting to discuss strategy. They've reviewed footage from a past encounter and are now preparing for a raid. One of the group members reports that they've identified a particular monster suspected of being the boss. The footage showed multiple monsters taking commands from it, confirming its authority and leadership role in the enemy group. As the footage continues, the team observes that the boss is heavily armored. Based on the armor's structure, they deduce that it possesses extremely high defense, which will be a major obstacle in the coming battle. A female team member, dressed in a thick coat with fur trim, suggests a strategy. She recommends having the ranged DPS units focus their attacks on the boss to reduce its HP and defense before engaging it directly. One of the armored team members strongly voices his disagreement with the earlier strategy. He explains that they don't have enough tanks to handle the waves of monsters if they divert all their firepower to the boss. Another member urges the group to hurry before another raid team arrives and snatches the boss kill. But the red-caped leader emphasizes that safety must take priority over speed. He warns that if they die here, they may even be resurrected as monsters themselves. The confident young man with fur-trimmed armor steps forward, claiming responsibility for taking down the boss. He plans to spend the next 5 hours hunting weaker monsters to build up his stacks while managing his stamina. The team leader outlines the strategy going forward. After the hunter builds enough stacks, they'll all take a short break to recover. Then, without delay, they'll launch a coordinated assault on the field boss. The red-caped warrior charges into battle with unmatched ferocity, his powerful strike sending enemies flying as the magical energy swirls violently around him. His overwhelming presence silences the battlefield. He reflects that he's always had to face the battlefield alone, bearing the full burden of survival with no support fighting until the very end without backup or rest. The blazing aura surrounding him intensifies, a visual manifestation of his unique trait, the solo survival strategy that allowed him to rise to power by relying only on himself. At a distance, a mysterious figure watches quietly in the snow, thinking to himself that this is the first time he's seen someone trust their back to a comrade. There's a sense of surprise and perhaps admiration in his eyes. The red-caped warrior exhales calmly, stating that it's not so bad after all. His steady expression reveals a sense of confidence despite the battle's intensity. As his red cloak flutters in the wind, the hooded man watches him from behind, silently observing his unwavering determination. With a wide grin, the hooded man marvels at how quickly his stacks are building up. Surrounded by golden energy spheres, he explains that his judgment spear ability thrives against targets with heavy armor and high defenses, making the boss an ideal target. The scene shifts to footsteps in the snow, and he reflects to himself that no one else can activate the skill effects anyway, hinting that only he possesses the conditions required to utilize its power. The warrior surges with golden flames, but internally he reminds himself not to make it obvious that he's using the blood combat technique. He channels his power while maintaining a facade of control, careful not to reveal too much. In the heat of battle, another character commands Lee Hyun-sung to leave nearby monsters half dead so the squad leader can finish them. The leader urgently calls out for help to take the final hits, revealing a coordinated stacking strategy. With a clenched fist, the red-caped man declares his intent to build up stacks slowly and methodically. Another fighter praises his performance, saying he looks great, affirming his commanding presence. Watching from a distance, a girl with reddish-brown hair wonders how someone could be so shameless while receiving compliments. Her expression is a mix of disbelief and sarcasm, hinting at her skeptical attitude toward the showboating. The confident man looks down with a bright smile, while the girl stares at him in stunned silence, internally wondering how someone could look so dazzling while being so shameless. She questions whether she should stop helping him now, clearly annoyed but still tagging along. The scene shifts to a deep canyon where a group of people advances through narrow terrain surrounded by cliffs. The environment is eerily calm, and the snowy, glowing atmosphere adds tension to their cautious movement. Standing at the canyon's edge, two scouts analyze the surroundings. One explains that based on reconnaissance data, the field boss is likely lurking somewhere inside the canyon, setting the stage for an upcoming battle in difficult terrain. The man with the fur cloak looks serious as he reflects on the urgency of the situation. Their time-limited quest is nearly up, and he realizes they're running out of time to act. He tightens his grip, mentally preparing for the final phase of the plan. He addresses the raid team, instructing them to stick to the preset strategy. His command is precise: use the surrounding monsters wisely during the boss fight. He emphasizes careful aggro management to ensure the weaker enemies don't overwhelm them. As the leader draws his sword, he explains the plan. The boss will be drawn into a specific zone where they can control the battle. His composure suggests this tactic has been well thought out and practiced. With a sudden roar, the boss monster makes its appearance. Its massive figure bursts into view, charging forward as growls echo across the battlefield, signaling the start of the confrontation. A sudden crackle of energy fills the air as something massive begins to stir. The tension rises instantly, and all eyes turn toward the source of the movement in the shadows. The hooded fighter calmly notes that it's finally time for the boss to make its appearance. His voice is steady, but the team behind him watches intently, bracing for impact. Their expressions change as they sense an overwhelming presence. Eyes widen and a feeling of dread sweeps through the group. Whatever is coming, it's powerful. The panel zooms in on the boss's massive form as it begins charging at full speed. The beast's heavy footsteps echo ominously across the battlefield. Its silhouette bursts into full view, revealing a monstrous red creature barreling toward the raid party with terrifying speed. The ground trembles with each thunderous step. A shout erupts from one of the party members. "It's out! Everyone get ready!" Weapons are raised, eyes sharpen, and the final confrontation begins. The armored leader charges forward with intense focus, his body radiating with power as he prepares to face the incoming threat head-on. His movements are swift and full of determination, igniting the battlefield with raw momentum. Excitement spreads through the raid team as one of the members shouts, "Oh, it finally came out!" The long-awaited moment has arrived, and the squad steels themselves for what's to come. The monstrous red-skinned boss comes into full view, charging forward at terrifying speed. Its heavy footfalls shake the earth, signaling the arrival of a formidable opponent. With each pounding step, the monster closes the distance, its massive form towering over the hunters. The ground splits beneath its weight, emphasizing the danger of the confrontation. The raid party braces as the monster barrels toward them, its claws extended and muscles tense. The hunters prepare for impact, realizing the intensity of the battle they're about to face. The sight of the massive boss sends shock and fear through the team. One of the hunters gasps in disbelief, unable to comprehend how such a monstrous creature could exist, its sheer size paralyzing him momentarily. The squad leader urgently commands everyone to fall back, recognizing the extreme danger of staying within the compressed zone. His voice is sharp, filled with urgency, as he tries to prevent casualties from the incoming force. The entire raid group turns and begins a full retreat, panic spreading among them. Shouts of "retreat" echo through the air as they scatter across the snowy battlefield, trying to escape the boss's overwhelming presence. Despite the chaos, the team leader holds his ground. With his massive sword drawn, he makes a powerful slash to protect the retreating team, his decisive strike cutting through the air with fierce momentum. The team stands still in confusion as one member notices something off. The leader turns around sharply, alerted by a strange movement or unexpected behavior from the monster, creating tension in the group. The demonic beast, with glowing red eyes and massive horns, charges forward with a wild roar. Snow kicks up under its thundering steps as it barrels ahead with terrifying strength and momentum. Just as it reaches the edge of the canyon, the beast suddenly halts. The team watches from below, stunned, as it simply stands at the cliff's edge instead of leaping after them into the narrow ravine. One of the team members voices the collective confusion. Why isn't the beast chasing them anymore? Meanwhile, a sinister red energy begins to flicker ominously from the monster's body, hinting at a deeper, more dangerous threat to come. The monstrous beast raises its head high, unleashing a powerful and eerie roar. The sound is accompanied by intense energy ripples that radiate outward in vibrant red and blue waves, signaling something unnatural and highly dangerous. The beast's roar causes shockwaves to tear through the canyon. Several hunters drop to their knees, clutching their ears in pain. One of them screams, overwhelmed by the pressure, while another yells in panic, realizing the creature is trying to rupture their eardrums with sound-based attacks. As the dust settles from the beast's earlier movement, a few party members look up toward the ridgeline in confusion. One man, eyes wide with disbelief, begins to question what strange phenomenon is unfolding before them. Another hunter urgently points toward something in the distance, his voice full of alarm. Light streaks across the canyon, and whatever is happening over there clearly marks a turning point in this encounter. A chilling silence fills the snowy battlefield as both sides briefly pause, the air thick with tension. The ground is littered with shadows as the vast army of enemies begins to emerge from the fog, growing clearer and more intimidating with every second. A horrifying wave of creatures grotesque, pale humanoids with soulless eyes bursts into view. Their numbers are overwhelming, and they charge forward with bloodlust, their expressions twisted into crazed grins. The green slashes of sound and motion emphasize the speed and chaos of their advance. The camera zooms in on the squad leader, his expression one of raw panic and fury. Clenching his teeth, he curses aloud, realizing that the battle has escalated into a full-blown nightmare. His readiness turns into dread as the true scale of the enemy horde sinks in. One of the soldiers expresses disbelief at the command to charge into the oncoming monster wave, calling it outright insanity. The implication is clear: this is no mission, it's a death sentence. His fear is echoed by the others, who feel like they've just been ordered to die. Another member of the group tries to analyze the situation more strategically. He speculates that the monstrous wave likely hides a powerful boss at its center, making it even more dangerous. He warns that entering in their current state means they'll not only fail to reach the target, but also perish trying to escape. The scene shifts to a silent figure in a red hooded jacket, likely one of the main characters, who listens without responding. His expression is unreadable, but the weight of the situation hangs in the air as others look to him, possibly awaiting his decision.